Welcome back everyone to Three Trials Barbecue. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing our second trial of this spiral ham, double smoked honey baked ham version, except we revised it from the last trial. We actually eliminated the Kinder's barbecue rub and some of the paprika. Today what we're going to be running with is the rub is now going to be a half cup of brown sugar, half a cup of turbinado sugar, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, half a teaspoon of ginger, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. That's going to give us that sugary crust. Our glaze is now just going to consist of a half a cup of orange juice, a half a cup of apple juice, and a half a cup of brown sugar with a quarter cup of honey. So we're gonna go ahead and dive in. We're gonna start taking this ham out and we'll start putting the rub and the glaze together. Let's start with the simple stuff, just the rub. So that's gonna be really easy. We're gonna take half a cup of brown sugar. We're gonna take half a cup of this turbinado sugar in the raw. Half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, half a teaspoon of ground ginger, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So that's our rub. That's what we're going to be rubbing after we prepare that glaze. And we'll rub it down and we'll baste it with the glaze and the rub a couple times during the cook, but we'll get a shaker, shake it up. All right, everyone, so I got the rub in there. Seems like a lot. We'll mix it up a little bit. That's gonna be the key to that crust. So let's go ahead and set up this glaze and we'll put it to boil and then we'll go fire up that Traeger. Okay, everyone, so the glaze, pretty simple. We're gonna be using a half cup of orange juice. We're going to be using a half cup of apple juice. I didn't go pure press this time. We're going to be using a half cup of this brown sugar. And we're going to be using a quarter cup of honey. I warmed this up so it can be a little bit more manageable. So we're gonna fill this up, pour it in. Let's go ahead and throw it on the stove. We'll let it come to a low simmer and let it reduce down so we can get a slight glaze out of it. So I'm gonna let it kind of come to a boil, and then as soon as it starts boiling, I'll reduce it down to a lower temperature, and then we'll be back. All right, y'all, so it's been about 5 minutes. We've had it at a low boil. I could feel it's kind of gotten thicker, and the level has kind of lowered. I think by now the flavors are infused. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it at a low temperature, and we're gonna go ahead and start on this ham. So this is gonna be our glaze, and it's also gonna be our binder. So we'll let it kind of thicken up and cool down, and then we'll take it to the ham. Okay, so while that glaze sits and kind of rests so it can be manageable for us to throw on the ham, I don't have to tell you that we're not gonna use this. This is my version of a honey baked ham, but we're not going to torch it like they usually do. We're not gonna put super amounts of sugar on it. This I bought at the local grocery store. It's an already cooked ham. It's a spiral cut ham. And we're just going to heat it up and put our own glaze. And we're gonna add more smoke. Today what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be using some of those lumberjack competition pellets that have hickory, maple, and cherry. So that should add that flavor profile that we're looking for. So let's go ahead and unwrap this, and we'll show you the Christmas gift. Okay, so we're just gonna pat it dry. Some of that excessive stuff that's on it. We're gonna go ahead and grab our glaze. We're gonna put a nice little layer of it so we can put our rub that we whipped up earlier. We have our glaze. We're just gonna drip it on top. This is gonna help our rub stick. We'll grab our rub. We'll start pouring it on. Some of that meat was falling. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we're gonna go outside, we're gonna set up that Traeger, and we're gonna start rolling smoke. All right, y'all, so we got the Traeger fired up. We're gonna set the temperature to 225, and we're gonna roll super smoke. Running those lumberjack pellets. Okay, let's go ahead and throw this bad boy on. Middle. We're gonna let it roll smoke for 1 hour, and then we'll come back and we'll glaze it. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back. All right, guys. Well, it's been on for about 10 minutes, but I want to put in my probe. So let's go ahead and find a spot. Monitor the temperature. All right, everyone, so it's been an hour. Let's check on this ham. Okay, temperature is at 75 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and baste it with some of this glaze. You can see it's thickened up. We're not gonna touch it, we're just gonna hover above it and let it roll down. Okay. Next up, we're gonna add some of this sugary rub. That turbinado sugar, the brown sugar. Help give us some of that crust. Go ahead and let it roll. We'll be back in an hour. Stay tuned, everyone. All right, everyone, so we're at the 2-hour mark. We've been rolling at 225. We are now at 99 degrees. Our goal is 140 internal. Let's take a look. Okay, let's give it a glaze. Pull it out. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it around. Okay. You know what? Let's give it a little bit more of this rub. Back in an hour, everyone. All right, everyone, we're at the 3-hour mark. Wow, it's looking good. We're not gonna do too much this time. I'm just gonna put a little bit of glaze, and the color's looking beautiful. It's not looking burnt. I can still see some of that turbinado sugar. Alright, y'all, so we're at the 3-hour mark. It's looking good. Look at that. We're not gonna do too much. We're just gonna put glaze on it. I can still see the sugar from the rub that we put on there last hour. So this will most likely be our last glaze. You can see it's starting to kind of come together, or apart, I should say. We'll get it in between there. Alright, everyone, so it's looking good. Look at that thing. Alright, so we got about an hour to go. So we'll be back. Oh, before we go, time. So we're at 3 hours and it's at 1:16. So we'll be back at the 4-hour mark. All right, everyone. So it went to 4 hours and 15 minutes. I can't make it up. Almost identical cook as the last ham. I'll take our temp probe out. We're gonna take the ham inside. We're gonna do the shutdown cycle. And we'll see you guys inside. All right, y'all, so here it is, finally done. I'm gonna transfer it over to this tray because we're taking it somewhere right now. We are gonna try a little bit before we do that, but let's get this over there. So the bottom piece always takes a hit. Let's try this. All right, everyone. The main difference that I noticed, removing the Kinder's barbecue rub really helped the sweetness come back into this. The glaze from the honey and the brown sugar with the turbinado sugar. I did give it one more extra glaze in the first trial. This just got better, and I'm glad. I'm glad it got better. I got great feedback last time. So just to recap, and I'm gonna post the recipe in the description for the video. But the rub just simply consisted of a half cup of brown sugar, half cup of turbinado sugar, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, half a teaspoon of ginger, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. That was as simple as that for the rub. The glaze that we were glazing it with every hour, that was just a half a cup of orange juice, half a cup of apple juice, half a cup of brown sugar, and a quarter cup of honey. We ran it today at 225 with supersmoke with the lumberjack competition pellets. That also had hickory in there, cherry and maple. So that also added a good flavor profile. We glaze it every hour, and we put some of that rub we made the first 2 hours. So in the first trial, we didn't do that. We only did it at the end. I didn't want to put too much sugar, but in this case, the sweetness is there. The little crust is there. It's hardened a little bit. You can kind of see the turbinado sugar on there. So this by far, I think, exceeded last time's. So really easy to do. They cooked at exactly the same time, 4 hours, 15 minutes, 225 super smoke. Look at this thing. Doesn't look burnt. You see the double smoked honey baked hams on other videos where they run 275, 300, and you see it and it's all burnt. I wasn't going for that. I had the patience to go 225 low and slow on my Traeger ironwood, and we dialed it in on this one. We may have another trial coming up, in the near future, but we may switch it up. We may not do a honey baked. We may do something else, but for the most part, this was a huge success today. So don't forget to hit them likes and subscribe. Turn on your notifications, and I know it's holiday season, but feel free to make one of these for Christmas. It's pretty good. So we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you for watching Traeger's Barbecue.